Unfortunately, as Administrator Leffler pointed out, those small businesses are struggling like millions of families all across America. Why? So that the Democrats can get leverage. Who knows who they want leverage over? They can't articulate it. They've laid out $1.5 trillion wish list of crazy items like giving taxpayer funded healthcare to illegals. In their bill to give that taxpayer funding to illegals, they actually gut rural health care. Democrats got $50 billion out of rural health care. They want to talk about health care? They're the ones making it harder. And of course, they don't want anybody to remember facts. Facts like when we moved the working families tax cut through this Congress. Unfortunately, not a single Democrat wanted to support that because it involved preventing a tax increase. The party that's now gone all the way over, full bore into socialism, as the speaker talked about. Hakeem Jeffries is now all in for the socialist agenda of Mamdani. He is the head of their party now. When he gets elected mayor of New York, he's given the marching orders to the rest of the Democrats. And they want to raise taxes on everybody. They call you rich. Anybody who works for a living is going to be rich, and they're going to raise your taxes to get government-run grocery stores and the lunacy that comes with that. That's the Democrat agenda. It's not about improving health care because, again, in their own alternative bill, they want to gut rural health care. You know what else they work to do? In the working families tax cut, we had a provision that would have lowered premiums by 11%, according to CBO. It was scored to lower premiums on families. It's called CSR. You can go look it up. It's something that has been out there as an idea for a long time. We actually put it into bill language and text and passed it through the House. But Democrats want used a parliamentary maneuver under the Byrd rule to get that removed because they don't care about families. They don't care that that provision would have absolutely lowered premiums by double digits for families who are paying too much for health care. And then not only did they get it removed, Democrats in the Senate bragged, still to this day on their website, bragged that they removed it.
You know what? There are some wonderful people out here from, all other countries, you know, but this is one thing that I've been saying for a very long time. Maybe I've been saying it really quietly, but it's important that you take care of your house first. Because if your house is in distress, if your house is torn down, if your house doesn't have the resources it needs for the people that reside there, then it's kind of hard to help other people. And on the other note, if people see you helping others outside of your house and your house is torn down and not in order, they're gonna have a lot of different names that they will call you, I'm sure, in those instances. And so the reason why I say that is because, yes, you know what, I don't want to see anybody go without, but I don't want to see others being taken care of instead of our people, in the United States that live here, that pay taxes here, that our residents here, our citizens here rather, and for them to prioritize, healthcare for people who are not citizens, it amazes me. There's a lot of people, as he mentioned, and I heard this before, that are in rural areas, and by cutting healthcare to those people, you put them at jeopardy. So you're willing to put your citizens at jeopardy because guess what? We don't know, there may be a hospital 20 miles away from them. And, a lot of people actually don't make it to those hospitals depending on the type of emergency that they have. But you're willing to put your citizens at jeopardy to help somebody who does not necessarily belong here. They came in here illegally. And I get it, I get it that we wanna help others out, but we need to help our own people. So if this is one of the reasons why we're shut down and why people are not getting paid and why potentially people's benefits are gonna go away, it amazes me. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, you can only go off what they tell you. And a lot of times, people tend to, go with their feelings. People tend to go with tradition in terms of, their personal views or their emotional views. Um, I was looking at a video today and it was talking about how, a group of men were in a room, maybe about 6 of them. And, they were doing like an experimentation. And basically it's like everyone was in on it except the person at the end. They didn't know that this was, an experimentation that everyone else knew about, but he didn't know about. So basically they go down the line and everybody agree, okay, yeah, that matches with that. Next picture come up, yeah, that matches with that. And then the next picture they looked at, people start saying, no, that doesn't go with that, but that was the wrong answer. So the guy looks around, he's like, huh, that's not right. But he eventually goes with the crowd because he didn't want to be, on the outside. So typically what people do, they like to go along with the crowd, even though it's the wrong answer. So a lot of times when we're looking at information, when we're looking at these politicians, when we're looking at, government, um, there's a lot of wrong information that's been given and that people don't know how to really use their moral compass anymore. Everything is sensationalized and denigrated to a point to where, it's all satire. It's all, um, reality TV, type of energy when I look at it. And you really don't really have a grasp on the real issues anymore is because, it's turned into a he said, she said thing. So now when you have this shutdown, they're coming up with some great points. And then the other side, they really don't have any great points. So it's just kind of like when you're listening to people speak and they don't like Trump, that's really the only thing that they have. I don't like him, so we need to do this, or we need to get rid of Trump, so we need to vote for Proposition 50. Like I was listening to the commercial today. It was like, yeah, because they're going to steal seats and redistrict and da da da. That's like the language that people use. You have to pay attention to the language because if you don't, it can sound like something totally different, you know? Meaning that, okay, if it's being redistricted and they're taking more seats, there's a reason for that. It's not that they're stealing. It's not a hostile takeover. It's a reason why it's happening. So why is that happening? Don't give me what you think I want to hear. Give me the legal. What's on the books. Is this something that can happen or should happen? You know what I'm saying? So just listening to these GOP leaders speak, I don't trust either side, but I like to have information I can listen to and I can digest. So, when I listen to, one side it's kind of like, you know, um, a lot of insults. This side I can listen to and it's like, okay, these are the issues. So let's look at this. This is what's happening. So let's look at this, so more of that and then give people the opportunity to make that decision based on the information, to be intelligent and make the choices from that point.
100%. Let me see if there's anything else that he has to say of substance.
They want to tell you it's about healthcare. It's not. They really told you what it's about. It's about getting leverage, showing off to their radical Marxist socialist base that they're fighting Donald Trump because they're still angry about the results of the November election. And in the meantime, real families are struggling. Every day the number grows higher. Yesterday, Senator Gallego went on to meet the press. He was asked when Democrats would reopen the government. And he said, quote, "I'm not looking at a timetable, I'm looking at everyone's personal pocketbooks. Now, Senator Gallego, you ought to be looking at the pocketbooks of those single moms who right now are facing losing their WIC payments, facing losing their SNAP payments. And if Senator Gallego's not sure how many people that is, we've been told by the administration how many people will stand to lose real benefits, SNAP benefits, food stamps for kids. 42 million people will lose those benefits in just a few days. Senator Gallego, look at their pocketbooks.
And we'll stop it right there, man. Let us know what you guys think inside of the comments. I would just say, man, hopefully they come to a resolution. Hopefully this thing gets, gets better. Hopefully it gets resolved, I should say, by this deadline. But they playing games, man. I don't know. Like I said, it's one side or the other. But I say this one thing, cuz and you want to say like one or two last things. I'll just say it amazes me that they're still getting paid, but we have so many other people that aren't.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are working, you guys are shut down. So why are the politicians still getting paid?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, cut their checks off and then we'll see if something's gonna get done. I bet you something get done.
Absolutely, man. But let us know what you think inside the comments. We appreciate you. Peace.
Salute.